call the member for Goldstein.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Deputy Speaker, when I think about the coronavirus pandemic, like many of the people in this chamber, at least on this side of the chamber, I think about the communities that have been affected. Those people across Australia, through no fault of their own, have faced risks because they're exposed to health risks. It may be because they have immune conditions. It might be because they've been travelling and were caught overseas and exposed to a virus. We think about the families who've lost loved ones and those who have gone into hospital and needed life support to be able to get through the night and the day and to be able to see the other side of the virus. But we also think about the people who are economically impacted by COVID-19. Those people, through no fault of their own, because of the restrictions and the measures that have been imposed by both the Commonwealth and the state, have seen their jobs disappear overnight. The small businesses that usually flourish and survive and thrive to provide goods and services to consumers suddenly find themselves without a customer base, and trying to support and assist those people who work for them and sometimes their customers, if they can, through this difficult period. And they face a very real challenge, which is why the Morrison government has implemented such strong measures, both to protect public health. The most significant measure that was taken to protect public health was by closing the international border and stopping people from overseas coming back to Australia unless you're an Australian resident, where you face challenges and then went on into quarantine for 2 weeks. But through the JobKeeper and the JobSeeker programs to help people economically to get through this challenge so people can support themselves in this time, we implemented a series of measures to make sure that people could stand up and support themselves, like early access to superannuation, despite the howls and the heckles of those on the other side of this chamber. When Australians were faced with a difficult choice and needed access to their own money to support themselves, to pay off their mortgage, to support their families and to honour their obligations, we stood by them and said, we understand the challenges that you face now and that we're going to help you help yourself. And it's critical that we do so, because when it comes down to it, the alternative on the other side of this chamber, we've heard this through the heckling of just my speech now, is that the only response from the opposition has been reheat old, tired, ideological debates designed to achieve their own political objectives rather than build the future of this great country. Because what we know, and what people on this side of the chamber know, is that we are not at the end of this period of difficulty. We know that small businesses and workers will continue to face challenges in the weeks and the months coming. We know that we're not just going to face this challenge here, and there is going to be a race towards competitiveness globally, and we have to make sure we build businesses that can support workers and produce goods and services that people demand sustainably and into the future. And that part of that's going to be having a discussion around how we build a tax system that's competitive for the 21st century, how to bring people together to have an industrial relations conversation that breaks down the ideological divides that so many on the opposition benches are not just wedded to because of their own political interests that they are, not just because it empowers them, though it does,
Order.
but because it comes at the disempowerment of Australians. And we want Australians to be able to stand on their own 2 feet. It's about having an energy conversation led by the Minister for Energy about how we have a competitive energy sector to make sure we can support a manufacturing base to match and to meet and to support our geopolitical strategic challenges, as well as job creation as well. At every point, this government has looked to the challenge today and said, what do we need to do now to support Australians now? But what also do we need to do to build the future competitiveness of Australians so they can continue to be successful and us to be successful as a country. And we make no apology for it.
The member's time has expired. I call the member for Maribyrnong.